women from the pro-government bloc. And we want to say welcome to this show. It's a very special edition. We are happy for some time a week ago, we hosted the opposition ladies, and then we hosted the pro-government ladies. So this time is the pro-government ladies and the opposition ladies coming together. And sit tight. We have a great show for you. And let me bring in my co-host, Mr. Asuni Sie. Mr. Sie.
Thank you, folks in cyberspace. Thank you. It's all ladies night again, and you can't find it anywhere else other than Focus on Liberia. We are glad to be with our ladies. Ladies in politics, not just in politics, but be politics happening right here on Focus on Liberia. As you heard from Dennis, we brought in the opposition women. They went after the government, and the pro-government women came, and they were able to debunk them. And so we thought it wise to bring all of them together to have a civil conversation on the issues. Fortunately, we want to let you know that the opposition women, due to conflict with their schedules, they can't be here today, but this were all set. And so we have to have the show. And so it's all pro-government women bloc on this show tonight, but it will be a debate start. And don't miss it. We are here, and very soon we will be introducing our panelists for today's show. Mr. Jal.
And because the opposition women were not able to be available tonight, what we're going to do is you, the viewers, want to play the opposition women tonight. We're going to open the phone lines from the very start the debate, and you will be the one asking the questions and answering the questions. So be ready to join the discussion. Maybe you are not part of the debate, you are not invited, but you know you're opposition lady or you're opposition person, please feel free to join the discussion. The number to call is 605-313-6004. The code is 791403, and that's going to be posted shortly. So we want to welcome each and every one of you on the show, especially our ladies representing the pro-government team, and they call themselves the pro-port team. So at this time, we're going to say welcome and invite every one of them to for a brief introduction, starting with Mrs. Constance Swain Duopo.
Hi, everybody, and Mr. Cha and Mr. Sie. I want to take this time on behalf of my team to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to represent our government. I'm Constance Swain Duopo, and I'm the chair lady for CDC USA Women League.
Thank you. We go to Roslyn. Roslyn, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. Good morning from my end, Dennis and Sony. Well, we were here the last time, and the introduction continues. Well, I'm Rosalind Vale. I live in Switzerland. I'm a mother of one, and member of the CDC. We don't have CDC Switzerland, but CDC Liberia, and a pro-government woman. I've been with the CDC for the only party that I know of that I support since 2005.
Thank you. Now we bring on Mrs. Veronica Grimes. Welcome to Focus on Liberia, Veronica.
Hi, Dennis. I'm happy to be here today on Focus on Liberia. My name is Veronica Grimes. I am a mother of normal many children, and I am a wife. I work in the healthcare sector. I love to preach, and I a supporter of President George Weah. Just for the clarity, I am not a sedition, but I am a pro-government woman. And I work with a pre-healthcare educator. I went to CASA University in Jacksonville where I studied nursing. And I am United Methodist by affiliation. I am from Nima County, Liberia. This is an opportunity and a great honor to be on this show today. Thank you.
Thank you. So the last time we had the women, the opposition women, we asked them if there were anything good about the government of Liberia headed by President Weah. And the response was, the only good thing about the government is that they have not killed everybody. That tells us that to them, there's nothing good. Then we hosted the pro-government women and asked them if there were anything wrong or bad about the government that they can remember. They said to them, the government is doing excellent. So we thought to bring the two groups together tonight to say, okay, what's good and what's bad about the government? What's good and what's bad about the opposition? And what are your recommendations? So that's the crush of the debate tonight, because one side see the government has all wrong and the other side see it has all good. So we want to have a conversation on that tonight. And with that, I will pass it back to my man, Ansoni, to get the show started.
Dennis, thank you. And so, folks in cyberspace, we are about to go into our conversation. We want to remind you that this is Focus on Liberia, the only platform that hosts debates in the Liberian community. And so this is your debate platform, and we will bring you more debates going forward. Ladies, it is time for business. Folks in cyberspace, we will ask you now to do that sharing if you just join us so that others can have the opportunity to hear from our ladies. For far too long, people have said to us, where are the women? We see so men on your show. Well, we work, we listen to the criticism, we accepted that, and now we have the women, and the women are here to talk politics. And so we will get started. Let's start with you, Veronica. The last time we had you, you people told us that the government is doing great. You specifically used the word excellent. And so in your opinion, everything is going well. So we will ask you, what do you know to be wrong with the government? Is there anything that you see that is not right with the government that you want to tell us about?
Again, like I said the other day, as I said, and I continue to stand my ground that I don't see anything wrong with the government. I don't just see nothing wrong with the government. But we know there are challenges in the government. And those challenges, the government trying to handle it, the government trying to face it, and the government is getting there. We know there are challenges, our civil servant salary being delayed. We know there are challenges of a lot of other things. But I cannot say because of those challenges, like from previous government, for which the CDC-led government is going through such, I cannot say because of that, there are problems. No, but we have challenges within the government, and every other organization will have a challenge. Every other sector, even those of you on Focus on Liberia, you have challenges. So that's the same problem with the city. But I don't see any problem with CDC-led government, even though there are some challenges.
Thank you so very much. And let me come to you, Rosalind. Do you
Mr. Sia, before Vero wanted you to fix your audio. You are locking twice now. So we want you to go off on one of these so we can have just one Veronica. We don't want 4 pro women, we want only 3 for tonight.
Okay, is it okay? I'm still on it. My computer is actually giving me a hard time and I want to use the computer. Okay, let me turn the computer off instead. Okay.
All right. Let's come to you, Mrs. Dopo. You just listened to your partner, Veronica Graham, that all is well. It's all well with the government.
Oh, Mr. Sia, thank you very much. I'm just glad that I have these wonderful ladies that will speak not just me as a cedation. Veronica is not a cedation, but I can tell you in every organization, in every institution, there are challenges. But yes, the government is doing extremely well. The government is able to try, is able to deliver services to its citizens. The government, we talk about civil servant pay, now it is covering. So yes, the government is doing extremely well. We have the roads projects. You know, government is continuity. Erin did not complete those, but the president has taken on the initiative to make sure that what she started will be completed during his administration. So that's a plus. Because in Africa, we know many a times most leaders will just come and bring their own project and just forget about the previous administration. But this government is doing the right thing, trying to make sure that what the other administration started, he is trying to complete that. So yes, this government, if I were to grade this government, I would say 98.8% is doing good.
Wow, 98.8%. Rosalind, I'm not sure you're going to say that, or maybe you're going to give it more. What are your thoughts?
You speaking to me now?
Yes, Rosalind, I'm speaking to you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. If the government is doing, you want to know the percentage from me, or?
Yes, if you want to give percentage, I will appreciate that. Veronica said the government is doing excellent. Constance said the government is doing great, except that there are a few challenges. And she gave the government 98.8%. So what are your thoughts?
Right. The main question is there anything that the government is doing wrong? That's the first question.
Well, how would I say the government is doing wrong? I mean, come on, y'all.
So anything that is wrong with the government that you see?
I can't, how it's like, if I would say challenges, but it would be difficult for me to say the government is doing wrong. I can't say that because I don't see the wrong the government is doing. All I see the government is striving to make the best of what they came into when they took on the government. I wouldn't want to say they're doing wrong, but there are lots of challenges, and they have never turned their back on the challenges that they met in the country. So I would say 99.0, huh? 99.0.
99.0. Well, that's a good answer. Thank you. But let's do it this way.
Yes.
Now, both all of you have said that the government is doing no wrong. You don't see any wrong there.
No, I didn't say there's any.
Then tell us what the wrong. What's the wrong that you see? Then you need to tell us if it is 99.9, then that's 0.1. You need to tell us what is it? What is that wrong?
Okay.
Okay,
For
can I
me,
help you lastly?
for me, we have always had challenges we've always had challenges when it comes to justice, when it comes to implementing justice, implementing the wrong that people do, people get away with doing wrong. That's one of the biggest problem in the security sector. You know, it's one of the challenges that we've had. It's not that the people don't know that we need to work on our security sector and on the justice system in the country. These are things that the government is focused on working on to try to balance a lot of things in the justice system.
Rosalind, the key word I'm looking for from you is wrong. And you said the government, you grade the government 99.9%. So can you, for the record, at least name me one wrong? Because if you can't give me one, I would think that the government is a saint that has no wrong. And I know my Bible tells me all of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. You know,
there's no government that is a saint. I just said it. I said
give me one wrong. Give me one, at least one.
Okay, security sector.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Mr. Jha.
Yes, and let's do some comparative analysis here. Let's look at previous government, starting with Mr. Taylor. That this will help us to tell maybe the current government is doing anything wrong that needs fixing. So
Yes.
from Taylor to now, do you see any government doing anything wrong?
Yes, but can I come
Yes.
in, Mr. Ja, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Veronica.
It's a question to me or?
So let Veronica, it's to all of you. Let Veronica answer the way she feels.
Okay.
Again, the current government in Liberia, like the Liberians themselves know very well that, for example, Charles Taylor, during Charles Taylor term, when his convoy is leaving from his house to the executive mansion, now a flag can even pass in the street. I'm not talking about people going to insult him and threaten him. We all know how many persons are going to be in jail. I'm not even talking about the respect they have for womanhood and even the citizen of Liberia comparing to today's leadership. This is a precedent that when he hear that, okay, this 92-year-old lady wants to see you, her wish is to see you until her wish is to see you before she dies. This man will leave his comfort zone and go see that 96-year-old lady. Those things did not happen during the previous government. This particular man will look at people insult his their mother, insult his wife. Previous government, nobody did that to our leader. Nobody did that to our president. Nobody did it. This government is going and loyal to the citizens of Liberia. He's down to earth. He's implementing projects. He's not saying, okay, this road construction money, let me take it and do this way. And he said, if a road is going to be for road. And because of his commitment, because of his fairness, because of his transparency, that's why you see international community investing into Liberia. So when people talking about this government, in administration or other previous president leadership, we see that 7 went months without salary. Nobody heard that, but this government will try its best, at least to serve its people. So,
Veronica,
yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, all while you just said, you only talk about something I will classify as human rights record of the past administration. You only talk about Charles Taylor. Then there's one of you to give us at least 2 or 3 administration. You talk about Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
What's about Doe? And
well,
Taylor, you just talk about how you dare not insult him.
Social media. I won't tell you anything about Doe because I didn't really know anything. But again, according to oral history from our parents, we know how many human beings that was killed, especially from my country, Nima country. We know how many persons that were killed, how many human rights were violated, how many women were raped, how many people were massacred in Lutheran Church from the Doe administration. All because somebody will say maybe Doe is short, Doe is tall. Or somebody will go tell Doe, say, this person said something about you. One of the things that I really stood tall for President Weir is that just an incident that occurred the last time, men are talking in a locker room and it came out. You know, like people's eyes are open to see if that man will miss a focus or be unprofessional or be the little child. But you know what? That is not his priority. His priority is to take care of Liberian people. His priority is to deliver his promises. His priority is to see his people going to the next level from the dungeon they are in. That his priority is priority. Not somebody going to, okay, go kill this person or go arrest in the night or go do this.
Veronica.
I said, Ville were killed from Charles Taylor government for no reason. Up to now, there was no justice for them. Their wives are crying. Their children are fatherless. This are never happened in this administration.
Veronica.
Yes.
At the time this 16 billion news came, there's a man called Matthew Innes who are working with Central Bank. Mm-hmm. Reports say he was killed. What is true, we don't have any proven facts to say, oh yeah, this government killed him or somebody in the government killed him. But this man got killed during the time of the money. And you are saying that nothing like this has ever happened in this government. So the fact that this happened and is related to the 16 billion, don't you think what you calling wrong yesterday that happened in previous government, you should also be able to call it a wrong? Because the ones you're talking about, you don't know the facts. Just as some of us can say, we don't know the facts about this one, but the one that happened in the previous government, you're calling it a wrong. So are you also willing to call this one wrong?
No, because what his name? Mr. CA. Mr. CA. Yes. What you just saying is assumption. I would just feel it's an assumption. You are assuming this happened. Did they go into investigation about that person or that? I'm asking you a question. Were there any investigation established to find out why?
Who's supposed to conduct the investigation?
I'm asking, were there any investigation?
I'm asking you, who's supposed to conduct the investigation?
The investigation or not? Of course, the investigation should be conducted by the Republic of Liberia. Okay. But I'm telling you, I'm giving information where there are facts, where the wives of the people that were Isaac Vale and John Yomi, where the wives too were tortured, and we talked to them as females advocates. So the other one you bring in, whether Central Bank of Liberia, the Central Bank of Liberia, or 16 billion investigation, somebody died. You don't have the source of your information. I'm giving you the source of my information. So that is assumption. I cannot respond to assumption.
But Veronica, the government should be the one to investigate the death of people, especially the way he died. The government is supposed to investigate and tell us, but up to now, we do not have the facts from the government. The government should be the one to investigate and tell us. The same thing happened with Justina Taylor. Justina Taylor was adopted. She was raped. She was drugged. It happened under this administration. That is something wrong. I'm not saying the government did it, but the government has not been able to investigate to tell us who are the people responsible. So don't you see that as one of the wrongs of the government for failure to investigate matters that are so grave like this?
Okay. Again, you're not going to turn me with any question. For Justina Taylor case, you are aware how much Darius DeLong, how much the opposition did not even give the government the opportunity to even interview Justina Taylor. I remember watching them on TV. I didn't say they say Darius DeLong called on the phone. I watched a live video that they are not going to allow any government to interview Justina. They are not going to allow anything to do with Justina. How can you do investigation where they are not giving you the opportunity to gather information?
Are you suggesting
whatever in fact they were political sides Justina case. That's how it was. Yes.
Veronica, are you suggesting that Darius DeLong have the power to stop the Liberian government from asking Justina Taylor questions? Do you really believe that Darius DeLong has that power to stop the
I'm not telling you Darius DeLong had the power. Of course, he's a senator. He can have the power and so on. But what I'm telling you is this. Justina Taylor case was being like the opposition and government. And you know, the president we had, he doesn't like confusion. And besides that, we have the justice system. If you say now you're not allowing you are not allowing X government, or you are not allowing this government, and he called a name on the phone. According to him, he was communicating with the vice president. Now they were not according to him, but I don't know who he was communicating with. That the government was not going to see this lady. They were not going to ask the lady questions. She's not owing anybody. She's not answerable to anybody.
Thank you.
We have the justice system. Darius DeLong is part of the government. He is a senator for Justina Taylor. So if I'm a senator for somebody and I say this will not happen in me, I have another step to take. So it was a responsibility of Darius DeLong, who is an opposition to the government, even though he working in the government,
Vero,
to take a further step.
Thank you, Vero. Again, folks in cyberspace, this is Focus on Liberia. My name is Anthony Sia, co-hosting with the veteran Dennis Ja. We have three outstanding ladies in the house: Constant Duopo, Rosalind, and Veronica. They are called Pro-Po team. They are pro-government ladies. who should be here as they are here to debate the opposition women, but because of conflict with schedule, the opposition women are not here. So we will ask a tough question, and that's what we do. Constant, your turn.
Thank you.
The same question.
Okay.
You consider that what Veronica has said, that in the Doe government, people were killed. She considered that to be wrong.
Yes.
Even though I don't know the fact, or we don't know all the facts, that the killing that went on was done by the government people, but she considered that to be a wrong. But in the case of this Propo government, Matthew Ine was killed. She does not see that to be a wrong. Where do you stand?
Oh, these are all rumors and they are all speculations by opposition trying to tarnish the good reputation of this government because people have failed in the past and they think this government can solve issues at once. I will take you back. You are talking about the investigation. It's a process. It's not done one day time. That one thing I want you to know, you have to take time to gather the information and to investigate. The government has not come up with its findings to say, oh, the person was killed or this person, it was a suicide. But other people are running because people trying to gain international recognition. I don't know what is going to benefit them. So I would say to this is that investigation does not take 1 day or 2 days, especially in cases like these, when it's highly politicized. The government has to be very thorough and very careful. So investigation is going on.
Sorry.
The thing about Liberian people, I think, is that we want to do things, in a hasty manner, and then we come back and say, oh no, no. It doesn't work that way. We're not going to operate like in the past. This is a new time. This is a time that Liberian people will need to face all the wrongs that we have experienced in the past, and the government is up to the task. So it's going to take time to investigate. And if I would just take a back about the Justina Taylor issue, if you have a complaint and you say you were raped, you have to be the one that will explain. You got to make yourself available to give statements. If you say you are not available and you're trying to seek political asylum and you are taken away, how do you want the government to intervene?
Mrs. Duopo, these things happened before, and you and I, we watched the previous government under President Sirleaf.
Yes.
And I know you noticed some things that went wrong.
Yes.
Some investigations what were some of those and how do you compare them to today? Because the issue here is most of the time we only criticize when we are not in favor of that government. So what was wrong yesterday is right today and vice versa. So
since you don't know me, Mr. Ja, I always stand up for the truth, and the truth will always be the truth. I'm not someone who will favor another person, and because I favor you, I won't tell you the truth.
Right.
I said the last time I was on the show, there are things that we need, there are challenges that we are faced with.
No, I'm not talking challenges. Everybody have challenges. I'm talking wrong thing. Like okay. you look in the Ellen government and you saw wrong thing. Tell me some of those wrong things and let's compare them with the wrongs of we are today if there's any.
Okay, Ellen, I know there were cases of rape. I know there was a little girl who was raped while living with someone. It was alleged that she was raped by her, I think, foster father, and the person was in prison, but got released and fled the country. I think that was bad. We talk about corruption, her children over agency and money. They just squander money out of the country, brought in people. There was nothing like accountability. They got all the money. I think that was wrong. Okay, come to my government. What is wrong? One of the things I think that we have problem with right now, the way information is being put out there, the dissemination of information, I think the process, they still need to do something about it. In terms of security, and the way people, the process, the due process of law, I think that's something that needs to be looked into swiftly so that we can get cases moving on a faster pace. Because if you were elected the people believe in you and that they want to see justice. Every case that people will report, we want it to be investigated swiftly and those perpetrators be brought to justice. And I think the process now is kind of slow, in my opinion. And I would
Yeah,
like
Mr.
that.
Ja, let me jump in there, consent, then we can go to Sis Roslyn. My question is,
I'm falling asleep, y'all.
don't fall asleep. Don't
Yeah,
fall asleep. You right there, we're coming to you. So, Mistress Jopo, you talk
yeah.
about investigation takes time. I
Mhm.
agree. Let's compare human life with money. In the case of the money that was reported missing, the 16 billion, the government told us that the investigation is completed. The money news came about just about the same time Mr. Innes got killed. Do you know why it has to take the government or it's taking this government this long to investigate about the death of an individual?
Oh, Mr. C, I believe that there's something called coincidence. I don't believe that that gentleman's death was connected to the 16 billion and that investigation was completed. There was no money missing. You and I know two different people or organization investigated. There is yet people to say, oh, here we say the president is involved in this, that people explain how the money was spent and is left with the public to accept the explanation. If you think the explanation that the government gave you, maybe you will need your private investigator.
Mr.
That will
Dupo, don't
go
dodge my
and
question. My question is mainly about Matthew Innes. I was just making an analogy. The money, the investigation is completed. Now, you just said here that Matthew Innes there, you don't think it was linked to the money. So if it was not linked to the money, it should be an easy investigation that the government should be able to conduct. It's going to, I think, about more than a year now because this thing happened in 2018. We are in 2020.
Yes, and I alluded to the process, the due process of law, the number of time it's taking the government to carry on investigation and to come up with the findings. I told you, I think the process is slower than I would expect, but it doesn't mean that the government is not investigating the cases. You know, we need logistics, we need a lot of things to carry on a thorough investigation, especially if the case being discussed is politicized.
Thank you. Let's come to you, Roslyn, and please do not fall asleep. We understand it is like, wow,
2
3
a.m.
o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning there in Switzerland.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So, Roslyn, we come to you. First, you said there's 0.1 wrong that you see in this government. And so then I asked a very good question. What are some of the wrong things you saw in previous government, if you can remember any, and whether or not you see that in this government or you can compare that with this government?
Some of the wrong I saw in previous government, I saw when it comes to security, people got killed. Bodies were found on the beaches, I mean, on a beach or on beaches, and there were no accountability. And there was a government to answer questions. There were no questions. Up to present, there are stories lingering. A particular politician was in the know of this individual. A high profile person was killed on the beach and no answer up to present how he got there, how he got killed. Up to present, we have no answers as to what was wrong with the CCTV at the RLA or
The hotel.
Robert, yeah, Bob Johnson's hotel, the Kennedy. We're still waiting to hear that investigation. What it did was it concluded it because the government was in the know of this passing of this individual, and at recent we're hearing videos, recordings on how the man death was played for money. No investigation. These are security aspects we are talking about. There was another guy, the former defense minister's son was also killed similarly on a beach. And there was no outcome, no security, no justice for these people that lost their lives I mean, in past government, I'm talking about now, like you asked the question.
And you think those are wrong?
Of course, people. Those were permanent people. There were investigations going on big, I know, big one or one big or big one, big two, and in the legislature, and nobody knew how this guy, one Allen, got killed.
Listen,
And there was a permanent citizen in our country got killed similarly on the beach. And up to now, no
how is that
justice.
different from the case with Matthew Innes?
Excuse me?
And how is that different from the case with Matthew Innes?
The case of Matthew Innes, it was also surrounding right around the 16 billion saga. And how can you blame the current government for Matthew Innes's death? They said it was an accident. They said a car hit and run. These things happen it happened, I think, broad daylight, if I should say. Am I wrong? Somebody can correct me.
I think they said it was early in the morning around 2 a.m.
Okay, so people can hit and run every part of the world. Every part of the world, there are hit and run incidents. And the time when this happened, it was right around the arrest of the former president's son being arrested on money from the CBL. So if he was in the know, did he work for CBL? I didn't follow Matthew Innes' story in total because I didn't get the connection.
Rosalind?
Through rumors,
Rosalind?
he was part of the CBL. So somebody must have played afar from the past government because they were the one that been questioned about the 16 billion. All of a sudden, people started to die. And this government, this past government is known for eliminating people that had some dirty answers about their operation. So I can't put my hand on Matthew Innes's death because they claim it to be an accident. It was an accident. It was a hit and run. So that's why I didn't focus on Matthew Innes's death because accident can happen all over the place, all over the world. There can be hit and run incidents, and the investigation will go on. It takes a long time to
that's
complete.
true. But Allison's death was also blamed on drowning. Do you buy that?
Well, when they try to do the investigation, there was no water found in his lungs, from what I know. So how can you drown and no water in your lungs? Similar to Harry Greaves' death, there was no water found in his lungs to say he drowned. So how can you drown and there's no water found in your lungs?
And when they did the investigation for Matthew Innes, what did they find?
I'm still waiting to hear on Matthew Innes's accident case. Like it was a hit and run.
That's the whole point, because the investigation finding you don't know. But here's my big question for
I don't know the investigation finding of Matthew Innes.
Okay.
Because I heard it was a hit and run case.
Here's my question for all of you. One reason why most of the time the government does not, do good to all of us is because our focus when we say government of Liberia is on the executive. So anytime we talk about the government being wrong or right, your focus is on the executive. Tell me if I'm wrong. So from what I'm hearing, the House of Representatives, the senators, our court system, our judicial system, all that make up the government, you ladies are saying everything is 100% or 99.9%. Let me start with you, Constant.
We said there were challenges.
Right. But other than that, is 99.9 when it comes to the legislators, when it comes to the court system as well. Is that what I'm hearing? Or when you say government, you are only thinking executive?
For now, I'm thinking solely on the executive because the main focus is on the executive all of the time from the opposition. So my full focus is on the executive, and the executive is working extremely hard to make sure that they deliver what they promise the Liberian people.
Constant, from civics, there are 3 branches of government.
When I'm speaking, I'm talking in totality of the government and not the executive alone. And as I said previously, is that I think the court system, the security, like when it comes to the police and other things, they need to do a better job. I'm not saying everything is roses and that we have it all, everything under control. But I know there are some challenges and there are areas that the Liberian people are looking forward to the government to really perform. And one of the areas would be the justice system. If people don't have faith in the justice system, they won't go to the system because they know there is nothing there to go for. So I know the executive branch, the president is working extremely hard. Every other person connected in this government, it can be the teller at the bank, it can be the market woman. All citizens need to do their best. We need good governance, but overall, this government is performing, and those that are trying to present themselves as alternative, they do not have answers for the Liberian people problem.
We'll get to the
We need to
alternative.
conscientize our leaders. We need to conscientize people that they need to do their job.
Veronica, the government include also the legislators and the judiciary. Everybody doing excellent, or you just focusing on the president?
Well, let me just join with Roslyn to say that Veronica, I will focus on the executive because it's the executive that is always dragging the streets. It's the executive that is always been, insulted. It's the executive that everything is pointing at the executive. Even the lawmakers who are the legislature in the House, some of them are pointing at the executive, but they are not saying what they are doing themselves. For example, everybody keeps saying, President Weah did not declare his assets. President Weah did not declare his assets. Have Dara Dillon declared his assets? Has Dara Dillon made his assets public to the Liberian people? Has other senators made their assets public to the Liberian people? But the thing again is, I'm so glad that they are trying to reintroduce civil into the school system in Liberia. Because our children, while civils were out of the school a little bit, our children, some of them start learning the branches of government all by themselves. Because if they start teaching civils in school and the children know the branches of government, and people going there to just drag in the street to say, oh, President, we are, somebody will say, wait. My elementary or my junior high civil instructor or education told me there are 3 branches of government. So for me, in this debate, I am really talking on behalf of the executive, because that's the executive the opposition see. And we are coming today to meet the opposition women. They are never said that they senator, they are never said that they representative, neither have they said the chief justice. Everything is open.
Thank you. Let me, there's a debate.
Anthony,
we have someone on the line. Call out your
Anthony,
name
I
and
have a
where you calling
question.
from. Call out your name and where you calling from.
But you are not opening the line for calling yet.
Hello?
Hello, yes, your name and where you calling from.
My name is Justina. I'm calling from Atlanta.
Justina, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Are you part of the opposition? Declare your asset. Where do you stand?
I'm not an opposition, but
Okay.
I'm a government. I'm part of the government.
Okay. Go ahead, Justina, your question or comment. Justina, go ahead. You can
I'm
lower
part of the government.
Justina, lower your TV or your Facebook and then give your comments or your question.
Justina, whatever you're listening to, turn it off. We're hearing feedback from you. So if you are listening to it on Facebook, on other device, call it off, and then we will unmute you for you to speak. We're getting feedback from you. You can go ahead now.
Justina,
Okay, I turn it on. I'm sorry.
okay, go ahead.
You're stealing the momentum of our show. You're killing the momentum of our show.
Yes, I said I would like to add up to what the lady said. I mean, first of all, thank you for allowing me to speak out. I've been monitoring everything that goes on in every organization. There should be a fault. There should be, area where you have to straighten up. I do love this government, and I love the president. There are some things that we need to be straight about. I see this is all about Liberia. This is not about the president. In addition to that, we have previous president. I was a child, but coming to see history today, there are a lot of things that we are learning, and we need to put things to where it belongs. I would say that I am part of this government, but my thought to my government, and I would say it to my president if I have to see him, government in the first place that I against was when you are elected leader as a president, and you know very well that you won the election, I feel that you should have gotten your head of state or your government official in place before the inauguration. In so doing, that way there are people that already aside that will give you advice. Because, for instance, if I work for an organization and I'm a CEO coming in, I already have my outside people that coming in because it is a new management. So it's being a new management coming in, is the same as a government. So our thought will always accept it. Like my chairman came to Georgia. We discussed on the thought that we had, and we need to move forward. We made a mistake. We have 100% we are going forward, but there is an error that we made, and we need to move forward to correct it.
Well, what
yes,
is that
we
error?
are doing. I'm not going to give my. Excuse me.
What is that error?
So my point right now is the error right now. My first thing would be government is for the people. Despite of the differences, the people elect you. The people elected us. So the government is for the people. The people come first. Listen to the people. So the error is we are not listening to the people. We are only giving credit to us. But I will say it's just us today. There will be another government tomorrow. And if we don't do that, we'll always listen to, if we're not listening to the people, we cannot correct our mistake. So the error is the people come first.
Okay.
What are the concerns? What are the areas that we need to work on?
So exactly what are the
we
people
need to
saying?
come together.
Justina, what exactly the people saying that the government is not listening to? Give me some examples.
Yes. The first thing example, the people saying to the government that they're not listening to is security number one is the first priority. Employment number two is the second priority. If a man, you can have all the education. If you can't feed your family, you are vulnerable. You are not important. If a father come home and the child is crying, they are hungry. Yes, every other thing will come first. But my concern is security, employment, empowerment.
Justina, before we let you go. Justina.
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
Justina, before I let you go, your friends here in studio said that they didn't see anything wrong. And now you are telling us about security. I think you people are bluffing with this security thing. Your friend here, Constance, said there was corruption in past government. Do you know whether or not there is corruption in this government?
My brother, I will always say, previous government, I was a little girl, 13 years old, but my father worked in the government when I was 13. He was a minister. He was working at the finance ministry. I was in our office every day. My father was a paymaster for Maryland and Sino. I was a child and I learned about government and investment. So when you talk about corruption, there is no government that is not corrupt. I'll be realistic. There is no government that is not corrupt.
Thank you. You answered my question. Dennis.
Thank you. Now we go to our panelists, starting with Rosalind. You listen to Justina. Say there are some mistakes, and she named security, employment, and some corruption that is in every government.
Empowerment.
Empowerment as well.
Okay. Every government go through that, and this government is of no exception. When we started the show, you posed a question about two things that the government need to work on, and I mentioned security. I never said security was not a problem. I mentioned security. In our challenges, we have a situation with our security system that almost, if I should say, when this government came to power, I don't want to believe that they had done some downsizing compared to that of the past government when they took over. This government has been very, very sympathetic to the Liberian people, and the government has kept the past government officials in the security sector, and that is disturbing the operation of this government because their practice of security during the past 12 years, I think, was a little different to that of this one that we are asking for, that people, that people take responsibility of their jobs. In the past government, when you did wrong, the executive would take responsibility and nobody was held accountable. So we, in my opinion, under this government, we want the security sector to be looked into because this is something very serious. If we are striving, wanting to turn the tourism sector to bring our economy to a stand, we need to have a well solid built security system so people can be able to move around at night freely, be able to go to bed freely with no fear of people coming in and breaking into your homes, and nobody investigate when it comes to that. If there's investigation going on the security sector, it's very lacking or slacking. It's not as forceful as it should be.
Thank you.
That people's lives be protected. So I never said that security was not a challenge. Security is a challenge in this government.
Thank you. Let come to you, Veronica. Oh, ladies, I'm going to play hardball with you guys here. Justina just acknowledged that there is no government you can name in the world, if I should paraphrase her, that has no corruption within. And finally, Rosalind acknowledged that, Constant acknowledged that. Veronica, do you want to agree that there is no government?
I did not acknowledge that either. I discussed security.
Why are you putting words in our mouth, sir?
You did. I pay attention carefully. When after Justina spoke, she said no government is exception. She said that. And so that is an acknowledgement that there is corruption in this government.
My focus is on security, like you said.
All right. Exception in terms of security. Anyway, let me respond to Justina.
Hold on. Let me come to you, Veronica. Sure. So you ladies are here and want to tell me and our audience that this government is the only exception in the whole world that has no corruption in it? Yes or no?
No, I'm not.
Where are the findings? Where are the findings?
Exactly. Answer my question.
Besides, no, I'm not going to, in my school, I never love true or false question, and I'm never going to respond to true or false question.
I am the teacher.
Let me respond to Justina, one of her problem that she raised. Justina, thank you so much for lifting our heads high up. I'm living in Atlanta, Georgia. You can contact me through Dennis Jar and let's get this thing going. Justina also spoke about empowerment.
Thank you.
She talked about empowerment. If any government are empower anybody from the history of Liberia, I stand to be corrected.
Ladies, you are running away from the corruption question.
No, I'm going to come to the corruption question.
No, we are not.
And the reason
Mr. C, Justina points a lot of stuff that we need to address.
Okay, hold on. The reason I'm raising this question is all of you will agree with me. From the time Liberia became a republic. Corruption has been our #1 problem. And you sit on the public platform and you are trying to dodge the question of corruption here. You want to talk about security. You want to
No,
talk
be
about
specific now, Mr.
Specific
C.
with your
Specific.
question. If you want
Let me
to talk
tell you,
about
is this
corruption,
government
Corruption
corrupt or not?
is a blanket statement. You're not going to give me a blanket statement and you think I'm going to
Exactly.
respond to it, sir. When you say correction, can you be specific with your
Yes.
correction?
Right.
You can't just tell me
My first
corruption. I
question
don't
to
have the
you
source.
is
I
this
don't have the
government
source. I don't
corrupt
have
or
the proof.
not?
I don't have the
First
source. I don't have the proof.
Is this
Because you are
government
asking me a
corrupt or
question
not?
for Liberia. Huh?
Ladies,
It is not, unless you want us
why
to be
is it so
specific.
difficult for you people to answer the question? My question is this government corrupt or not?
Can you be
No.
specific? We cannot answer
No.
that question until you cannot give us a blanket statement.
It is a
This is
specific question. If the government is not corrupt, tell me say the government is not corrupt.
I
If the
already
government is
responded
corrupt,
to
tell me
that.
say the
Can I
government
add
is
up?
corrupt.
Can I,
The government
excuse
is
me?
not corrupt.
It's
Can
not
I
corrupt.
can
It
I
has
add
to
up to
take you
that?
this long to
Can
say
I
that.
say something? No, can I say?
No, Justina, it has to take you this long to tell us and our audience whether or not this government is corrupt. You've heard Nika Kim and say, yeah, this government is excellent. So when I ask the question,
And
I
keep
wanted you
saying
to
this
tell me
government.
this
Okay,
government is
the
not
problem is
corrupt.
that you're not going to maybe to contradict myself.
Go ahead.
I am a woman of principle. I am telling you, you are asking that question over and again, and you think I'm going to stumble on my tongue and say something different again. On the social media, the 18th day of January 2020, the CDC-led government is not corrupt. Can I go ahead?
The motion.
Can I go ahead with the empowerment aspect that Justina referred to? Say you needed a yes or no answer. Yes, Mr. C. The CDC government is not corrupt. And you ask me why, then we can go to that line.
Exactly.
Other than that, it's a yes or no question. I will tell you, no, they are not corrupt. Again, Justina spoke about empowerment. She did not just talk about corruption. Okay, Justina is talking about corruption because her father was once upon a time a payroll manager for Ministry of Finance, taking care of Maryland and Sano County. My father was not. My father was a nurse. Therefore, I cannot say that every government is corrupt when I don't have the source, I don't have the proof. I'm not going to indict anybody without any evidence, sir.
Right.
So again, the government of Liberia, led by the CDC, is not corrupt. Let me go with the empowerment that Justina spoke about. Justina talked about empowering people, and I 100% agree with her. But let me bring her to attention that if any government has ever empowered anybody in the history of Liberia, is a CDC-led government. Number one, CDC-led government are still to be corrected. But I'm telling you what I know, maybe in the 60s or in the 70s it happened, that it had the record. But what I know is what I'm telling you about. The CDC-led government, like other government, pay the wire or the WAS fee. I almost did not tell my WAS when I was graduating from my high school because my parents could not afford. But now parents don't have to worry about how their children pay for WAS. Besides that, just as we speak, there was established a study class for all the 9th grader and the 12th grader are supposed to be taking WAS this year. They all go for a study class on a Saturday that is paid. The teachers are teaching the students and they are paid by the government. Those are all empowerment. The University of Liberia and other government entities. The students are going to LU. The school fees are paid by the government of Liberia. Justina, you are right. We are getting there. You know, and I want to be completely in the order of the countries. But from the payment of WAS, from the payment of study class for our children to be successful when they go take the exam, and for our youth, after you graduate from high school, even though your parents cannot afford to send you to LU, but the government of Liberia say, just take the exam and pass, you can enter LU and go to school. So those are all empowerments that the government put into place. Gradually, it will be all over. So I take that to be an empowerment. So again, let me conclude by saying the government of Liberia honor the George Weah administration is not corrupt, even though we have some challenges.
Justina, you said that more than 15 times now. Thank you. Again, folks, this is Focus on Liberia. Again, folks in cyberspace, this is Focus on Liberia. My name is Anthony Sie, co-hosting with the veteran Dennis Jai. We have the pro team, the woman from the ruling government bloc, and they are here, and we are talking big politics with them. When I'm ready for debate, I'm ready. You woman or not, we debate the issue. So ladies, I come back to you. Rosalind, your turn. So I have to push your button so harder for you to answer the simple question, the government is not corrupt. It tells me something. You are not honest about what you are saying. You came here, you said, hey, the government is doing excellent. So I felt that when I asked the question, is this government corrupt? You're supposed to say no, but I didn't get that from you. I have to push and push and push. People that are listening think that you are not doing a good job. Well, I'll leave it there. That's how I play the game. So let me give you some apples and oranges because you said the government is not corrupt. The 16 billion, the government said nothing happened. 25 million, what's happened to that money? The government is telling us that they sent a report to LACC. The last time we heard from the Minister of Justice, he said that when the report comes from the LACC, they will be able to resume criminal prosecution. What is taking the government so long? We heard about the National Housing Authority scandal, a scandal that involved the finance minister, the justice minister, the president, and the minister of presidential affairs. All of them should have received something around 400,000. There is an audio tape, another audio tape from the party chairman, Mamba Molu, saying that when the president traveled on the government mission, when he returns with money, he takes the money to his house. That is your party chairman. These are corruption allegations. And I expect you, if you represent the opposition bloc, the ruling party, you should be woman enough to talk about these things. And I have to push you over and over for you to say, oh, the government is not corrupt. Let's talk about this corruption allegation that I just talked about. You start, Rosalind.
Yeah.
Before Rosalind start, let me correct you. We are women enough. We take that as an insult until you can apologize. The show will stop right here. You don't refer to us as women enough. We are women enough, sir. And I know I'm making you upset, maybe because the opposition did not come. Let me be honest with you. You don't refer to us that we should be women enough. That's an insult. So until the show can continue, please retract that and apologize to us.
That's
Thank
correct.
you. Thank you, Rosalind.
Do you agree by me saying that
Veronica.
you feel insulted?
It is an insult. It's an insult. You can't tell somebody, you're not our husband. Only our husband know we are women enough, and they can tell us that you are not our husband. How do you know we are women enough or we are not women enough? You are upset. I see you are not being balanced on the third shore. Let me be honest with you, Mr. Moderator. So we know where you're from, but do not refer to married women and responsible women that be woman enough to say that. So until you can apologize to us, we are going to stop the show right here and retract that statement.
Constant and Rosalind, do you agree with your colleague?
I agree with Veronica.
Constant, you are mute.
That we are not women enough. I think it was a bit harsh. You can rephrase that statement.
All right. This is a democracy. The woman said that, they take offense to my statement that you're not woman enough. So I take that back. I'm sorry that I said you're not woman enough to answer the question. I said that because I have to push so hard over and over and over and over before you could come to the question.
Doesn't matter.
I take that back. That's an
Thank you
apology
very
for
much.
you. So let's continue the conversation.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so Rosalind, you go ahead.
Yeah. On the line of corruption, you insisting on this corruption because the whole thing is blanketed. You refer to the government. Is this government corrupt or not? And I say the government is not corrupt. Why is it the government is not corrupt, right? You want to know why is this the government is not corrupt? Even though you want to bring in a locker room talk about the chairman of our dynamic party, about his discussion with his friends, about talking about the president's actions. He came out and said it was a liquor talk. People get drunk and they get silly, they get stupid. And the president had answered openly that this was racketeering. People were recording unknown to him and having a conversation that he didn't even think that was doing something, that he was saying something to offend anybody. So that was a locker room talk, and the president had already clarified that. The last time you mentioned the same story about the gossip that went on in a corner with two people, or maybe more than two people in a gathering. And the president came out and said that's racketeering, and we are not going to have that admissible. Okay, so that is taken care of. I spoke about it the last time, and I'm saying it again. The president had already concluded and told you people, told the opposition, don't make this a big issue. Let's focus on the real issues of our nation instead of talking about petty gossip or little liquor talk in the corners where somebody is there recording another person while they're having a conversation. So I don't dignify that. The next thing, I wouldn't consider that to be anything that has to do with corruption. You talk about the 16 billion. The president invited international investigators. The investigation went on, and they got their findings, and people were arrested, and the investigation is still ongoing. What is wrong with having investigation going and you just want to debunk it and say there's nothing happening? Yes, there's something happening. Do you know how long it takes for people to be served justice? It takes years, even in the Western world. It doesn't come overnight because you want to have everything on the paper, black and white, that everyone is clear and is about to be investigated. And that will be taken care of when the time comes. Right now, as we speak, they have 4.6 billion corruption saga going on in the nation. That is much more important as of now, that we be able to have the restitution going on and collect our money from those that stole the nation money and bring it back. 4.6 billion, that's a lot of money to build our country. A lot of money to stabilize the economy, to get our roads projects going and have the reconstruction of the nation. We have so many debts out there from the past government. And all this government is trying to do is to clean up the mess. Clean up the mess that was created in 12 years. And that is what's going on. And this is our focus.
Thank you,
so
Rose.
if you say the government is corrupt, I don't see it. Show us the documentation and then we can debate that. You talk about 25 million. When the president had his first year of what's the word I'm trying to find,
State
he
of the
spoke
nation.
about it in the Senate. The president, he went step by step how the 25 million was used in trying to solve the escalation of the US dollars in the system. The president, he went step by step and told you guys how much was the balance, and it was in reserve.
Thank you.
Did you not hear that? Did you not hear that?
I hear that, but I'm not buying
in the
that.
State of the Union address from the president, he mentioned about the 16 billion, the investigation with the Crow agency. He talked about that. He talked about the 25 million.
Thank you, Rose. He said he heard that, but he's not convinced. Let me bring in a caller, and we are looking for mainly opposition on the call. Call out your name and where you're calling from, and tell us if you are opposition or pro-government.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ja. This is Steve. My last name is Bolis, formerly known on Facebook as Moses.
Steve, are you pro-government?
And for the record, I'm in the opposition.
Okay, good. Go ahead with your question or comment.
Thank you so much. I'd like to start off by saying thanks to the Liberian people for tuning in. I want to say thanks to our mothers, our wives, our sisters, our nieces that are on today, in pro for the government. I want to say here to your listeners and to the Liberian people that Liberian women are the most beautiful women. And I agree with that. Whether you are in the opposition, whether you are Phoenician, it doesn't make a difference to me. As long as you are a Liberian woman, you are the most beautiful woman on earth.
Thank you.
But let's move to the issue here. I also want to commend these beautiful women out here that are doing their best to defend other people's lives and deceptions. I want to commend them. They're struggling. They're doing their best. And even in doing their best, they're still beautiful at doing it. But I have two questions for them. And the first question is, in line with the fact that there has been reports that are documented, there have been photographs, and it has been published in different newspapers, both locally and internationally, about rapes, sodomization, and victimization of our women, our daughters, our boys. And we are yet, whether that the justice ministry, whether that the president, whether that the lawmakers, whether that ministers, we are yet to see any tangible evidence apart from those in the diaspora, whether in the opposition, and some civilians that speak out against these ills. As mothers, as women, as wives, I want to know, what are your positions on these different crimes that are going on under this administration? Please don't take me back to Ellington, because I'm a country boy. I'm used to recent things that are happening now. My second question is in regards to the fact that the mothers, the sisters, the wives, the aunties, and the nieces that are on here today that are very beautiful have said there have been no proof about the allegation that were made about the chairman when the chairman spoke on video recording. They have said the president dismissed it. My question to them is this: if someone makes a threatening statement, or someone insults the president, or someone threatens another person, or someone says something that is very demeaning, derogatory, or bring other people down, is it okay for them to say that our liquor talk or our lack of talk? I want to say thanks to Focus on Liberia family, and let's have a good night and a good conversation. Thank you so much.
Steve, before you go, there's a comment here for you. And we want to thank you for your comments, for saying and talking about the beauty of these ladies. Somebody here telling you, say, Moses, he said the ladies, all of them marry.
Yeah, not anything. We can still appreciate them.
I know.
That one make it our mothers, our sisters, our wives.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
And there's nothing wrong with admiring what God has created.
Exactly. Especially like with me.
This is a very serious thing, the issue of rape, sodomization of boys and girls and our women. And he said you don't want to go back to Ellen time, but as women, what's your take? And we still see that he said there is no evidence of people openly speaking against these things. Let me start with Constant.
Oh, thank you very much.
And let me highlight that Molu said a lot of things, incriminating other people and all kinds of things he said in the tape. And can we say liquor talk and just brush it on the side without any form of accountability? That's what Steve is asking. Go ahead, Constant.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jai, and I want to thank Mr. what his name, Mose for information. First of all, I would like to speak to the issue of rape. It is very concerning, alarming that our children and women will be faced with such situation in this time when we have just elected our president. With that being said, we have the judicial system that is in place to prosecute these cases. The process, even in America, you report the case, they collect the information, and then they start the investigation. And as I said previously, my concern is that cases, the time that is taken, and we know this government inherited lots of problems. So it could be that the time in order to get the cases, the human resources, all the things that they need, but again, the government is aware, and we as women, we condemn that. It doesn't matter whether you are partisan, you are a lawmaker. If you rape anybody, you should be brought to justice.
Constant, sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the president has the bulletproof it. I know we can shove it to the justice system, to the court system. The president has the bulletproof it. He needs to
bypass the judicial system.
Not that, but he needs to be very forceful to condemn these kind of acts. We don't hear that quite often, even from our gender minister.
Excuse me, sir. That you just asked me that the government is not just the executive branch.
I
The
agree.
president will not be around, passing around with writing, going to the speaker to say you got to speak on this. We have the system. I condemn, I frown at rape. There is no reason nobody under any circumstances should be subjected to rape after the Civil War. So the president is somebody, he's a decent man. It's not the president's job to go and arrest people for rape. We have the police. And we hear about these rape cases. We only hear it from opposition in Facebook. What are the processes? If you come and bring out your allegation as an opposition that rape, we want to see the process. The person who is leveraging the allegation against anyone should say, this is the number that they gave me if somebody is being raped, or you go to the police station and then you follow through. It shouldn't be angry opposition coming up here to just say rape. I am one person that will never ever support rape. I will never support emotional abuse. Talk less about rape. But again, we have the three branches of government. It's not the president's responsibility. We condemn rape. The three of us on this show tonight will tell you if any man or woman rapes anyone, they should be brought to justice hastily and quickly, swiftly, that they may be punished for the crime. So we are against rape. The government is against rape. The government does not condone rapes. No, we do not. As an institution, we do not. So to come up here and say that, oh, the government, no, the president cannot come up to say, oh, I am going to arrest this person. We have the police director, we have the court system. That is what I said previously, that we need to trust the court system so that people can go there. And when these kind of crimes are committed, they need to act swiftly. So the ball is in those that are appointed, the justice minister, the court system, the police. They have to act, not the president and the Liberian people.
Thank you, Mistress Dopol. Again, folks in cyberspace, this is Focus on Liberia. And we have in the house as our panelists, the Propo team, they call themselves.
And excuse me, before you go further, I wanted to speak on like
saying you don't do it like that. When the moderator is speaking, you wait. You
Okay,
can't cut
sorry.
me off when I'm trying to re-announce the show. You
Oh.
can't do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, thank you. See, now you cut me off. I lost. See?
Oh, sorry, please catch
Yeah.
up.
All right. Now, ladies, we've been talking about right and wrong. We've been on the government. We have a lot of people on the call. We'll get to them. But let's pivot a little bit. This is how fair I am, but people don't see it. Let's talk about the opposition. What are the wrong things you see with the opposition? I'm giving you some meat to chew. You know, when I was trying to chew your side, you were very mean. You know, I apologize. I apologize. And by the way, you are the most beautiful woman in the world, a Liberian woman. I will use that little medicine Mose using now. All right. So let me give you some meat to chew. The opposition, what are they doing wrong? And at least give me one thing that they're doing right. Let's start with you, Veronica.
Well, stuff that the oppositions are doing wrong is that they don't love the Liberians. What am I trying to say?
Whoa. Go ahead.
One president, we are took seat. I vividly remember he went to his father, Joseph Boaka, and he told Joseph Boaka, Daddy, we are going through the political war, and now I am the president. I want you to come on board. Let us work together. He called all of the opposition for a meeting, and he told them, this is not about CDC, neither is it about about Opon, but it's about Liberian people. And some of these people that we look at, we think they are responsible, they really love Liberia. They were making all kinds of statements. Who is he to give me a appointed position? And some of them, from that time, they just went by themselves and organized and said, I know CAP or what, not COP now. I know opposition collaboration, opposition party and stuff. And all they do is to incite our children against the government. And the children, some of their children in this country we're sitting in today, going to school, living lucrative life, coming from in the air-conditioned car to air-conditioned house and air-conditioned office and air-conditioned room. And our children are in the sun every day. Tell me, all the protesting that were going on, how many of them children were there? Not Tyler Euro now is quote unquote a politician. How many of them children were there? But they're inciting other people, throwing the stone and hiding their hands. If you say you love Liberia, some of them ran and they had their platform. They told the Liberian people to be specific. It is other comments. He told the Liberian people, it will take me 3 years to address the agriculture issue in Liberia. 3 years. Okay, you did not win. We agree. I stand to be corrected. What are you doing? That tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or come 2023, I can leave from here and go to the library and say, I'm going to push your campaign. All they do, nobody ever gone on the show, on social media could condemn Kosa for insulting upon. Nobody have gone on social media to condemn Honorable Yeke. He's my honorable. I hate to call him Jerry Yeke. But Honorable Yeke for insulting and threatening the Liberia people. Honorable Yeke sat out there and said, there's a war. We will fight war. Kosa sat down on the social media and said he will go and give it to us rebel and kill people. How many of the opposition went out to condemn Kosa? I stand to be corrected again. I'm not on social media every day. How many of them went out there to condemn Kosa that even though we went in election with him, we lose the election, but you cannot make this statement. But then Arizona Kwame will have to come out and condemn the government because they did that. So what are they doing that is right? Is that really right for a person who want to make president? Maybe come 2023 or after 12 years, when they're insulting another president, you don't make comment because you pay the person, okay, insulting more. Then now you oh, you didn't insult him good, why insulting more? Then after they insult the president, he might have pie everything, and they threaten that we will bring war in the country. There is war has started. Which one of them ever condemned that statement? Not one of them ever condemned that statement. We one of them ever told you guys no. Even though the president, we are saying that he's not doing right, but there's a way we should go with it. None of them have ever condemned it.
So Veronica,
they're setting out and pushing that thing to happen. So those are the wrong thing they're doing. They are making our children who we are trying to de-traumatize, like living in a cemetery, like living in the streets, that people trying to make that them to feel that no, that's not the right way to live. The right way to live, to cause a president, to cause it the other day, to be violence the other day. So those are some of them, they are not even contributing to the lives. How many times you ever hear Benina, you will pay maybe a senior student, okay, that I'm going to the school today, I will pay the entire senior class school fees. Or I'm going to the community today, I saw the lady struggling, the math house in, I will change it to a black house or the concrete house. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off. Let's keep it short so that your friend can answer, and then we can also ask you a question, and then you'll have more room to talk. Okay. So can you give us one thing that the opposition doing right?
One thing the opposition are doing right, honestly speaking, I don't really know what they are doing right.
I know.
Because somebody can tell me, maybe somebody tell me and I see it and analyze, I will see what they're doing right. But until then,
okay, let me tell you. One of the purpose of opposition is to keep the government feet to the fire so they will be accountable.
But not to destroy the government.
No, keep criticizing so the government will do right. The opposition is doing that, is holding the government accountable. You don't see that as one right thing?
I don't see them holding the government accountable. I see them trying to, listen to me. I see them trying to belittle. I see them trying to belittle and destroy the CDC government.
Okay, okay, thank you. Let's go to Constant. One thing the opposition doing wrong and one thing they're doing right, Constant.
Oh, the opposition, one thing I think they are doing wrong is that they are not presenting themselves to the Liberian population as the alternative to this government.
Fair question. Fair answer, madam. Fair answer. I don't have my side, you know. That's how I roll. Fair answer. And one thing they're doing right.
Oh, I think having them to conscientize Liberian people what a good government should be, I think it's a good sign. But are they living? Are they setting examples? So that would be where I would take a back, pointing out the issues and the problem, and not being like trying to be part of the solution is another thing.
If you give them the power, they will be the solution. But right now, their job is to criticize.
There's a reason for opposition. Their job is to oppose anything.
And you know that this government is very, very tolerant. We welcome all their criticism. We work with them. We protect them during their protests and of their protests. There has never been anywhere where the government has, frowned on them for protesting. So we are doing good. But the thing is, they are not the alternative to the Liberian people problem. And they cannot, they are not trying even to present themselves as solutions.
You say you're protecting them, but when the student came in the street, they were sprayed with tear gas. I'm talking about students. Was that the way is that how you protect people?
Oh, there has to be discipline in every society. Even in America, there is not lawlessness. Because we protect you doesn't mean you will just go destroy and be disgruntled in the street. So yes, we protect you. There are consequences to every behavior.
Good.
So the student was disgruntled in the street.
Let's go to Roslyn so we can go to our phone line. Same question, Roslyn.
One good, one bad. Opposition.
To be realistic, I've searched my head all through to see the good the opposition is doing, and I really tried. There is no. It's their right to criticize where the government falls short, but they are not being constructive in doing so. Their criticism is not constructive; it's destructive. It's very, very destructive because they try to radicalize our youth, our kids, that they can disobey, they can be rude to the leader of the nation, and no opposition has stepped up to the plate and say, no, kids, you cannot do this, because when you get there, you don't expect somebody to do it to you. So that I haven't seen from the opposition bloc. All they do is every day they find stories here and there, like the famous newspaper Front Page Africa is the first to come out with negativity on the government. Your opposition, we know that it's your place to point finger at the wrong that the government is doing, so the government can be able to be proactive. But you are only doing destructive criticism. So I can't put my hand on the good that they're doing, even though we know it's their place to be opposition and to criticize and to put the government feet to the fire, but be constructive.
Let me give you this news. When the COP planned the protest calling for the president to step down, one opposition leader, that's the ANC of Alice Comey, said, no, you can't do that. And
first of its kind, because it has to do.
So was that a good thing on the side of the opposition?
Well, yeah, it was an individual. It was not collective. They have the CPP, right? Isn't it the CPP?
Yeah.
So it was one section of the opposition, and I mean that was individual. That was Alexander
political
Cummings.
Party, the ANC.
Yeah, that was Alexander Cummings' party, but they are a group of political parties that collaborated, the CPP. And he was the only person I remember saying that. The former vice president said that it was right to come out and protest. It was later on, after people came in and condemned him for his role that he played in having people to come in the street to bring down a sitting president. So I don't see.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We have three beautiful ladies from the pro-government side. Tonight, you have been a debate with the opposition, but due to scheduling conflict, the opposition ladies are not here. And so we are having people on the phone to do the debate. So this time, we're going to go to our phone line to open the phone line for a question or comment from, and please first identify yourself as either opposition or pro-government, and then ask your question. Call out your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, how you doing?
Great.
Hello?
Go ahead, call out your name and where you're calling from.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Go ahead, Gakan.
Hello? My name is Garkan, and I'm calling from Chicago, Illinois. I don't know whether I would say I'm opposition or for opposition. I'm a realist, and I speak in interest of Liberia and Liberians. Now, why it is true that many of us may not, and many of us may like the government, but it is true, it is wise for us to be truthful at all times. And looking at these panelists that's on the show tonight, I'm glad that the opposition lady did not attend, because this is total, I don't know, this is an embarrassment.
Did you listen
Since
to the
George
opposition
took
ladies
over,
the last time when it's
George Weah claimed that the government was broke, yet he bought a jet. He said because he's a celebrity. He played soccer for so many years, he didn't realize he was a celebrity. He didn't own a jet. George Weah declared the government broke, but he doing things, building houses, he running the country as a like this is his private company. Like he giving donation here and there. But let's go to the issue.
Right. Please.
George Weah claimed to be
on
a
the call.
pro-government. Yeah, I'm sorry. I will go to the issue. I just want to ask these ladies a question. He self-proclaimed to be pro-poor government. Now, I'm kindly asking each of you on this line to list 3 executive orders that George Weah implemented in Liberia, or that he passed in Liberia, that benefited the lives of the poor people in Liberia. Because from what I know, Liberia is the poorest country on the planet Earth. What has he done since he took over in 2017? Another question, where are we at in terms of hospitals? George Weah on March 2017, he broke the ground for the first military hospital. In 2019, India government donated $2 million for the hospital project. We want current updates. So my questions are, please list 3 pro-poor policies that impacted the lives of Liberians, the poor Liberians. What are the policies and how did it impact their lives? And then give us an update on the military hospital. Where is it at today? Thank you.
Thank you, Gakan. Ladies, and I want to announce that Mrs. Sharon Kepat-Garpu, who appeared before with the opposition ladies, has just arrived. Right here, she has notified us because the opposition ladies did not have the time. She has come on as herself and not representing the opposition bloc. Sharon, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you. So we'll come to you in a minute. Let me have the pro-government ladies respond to the question from Gakan. Constant? Okay. Go ahead, Vera.
Okay, let me try to respond to my brother regarding this aspect of the private jet. He said that he bought a private jet, he's making donation, he's building a house, he's doing this. Do you have the source? Do you have information? Do you have legitimate document that tell you that George Weah has a private jet, he bought a private jet, or you are just making a statement from assumption or from statement from Facebook or what have you, before I respond to your question. Because I don't want to respond to assumption. I want to respond to fact. Do you have the fact that George Weah bought a private jet?
Let me give you some facts. Can I give you some facts?
Yeah, I mean, who you thought? Who's that, Mr. Sier?
Yeah, Mr. Sier, the troublemaker.
No, you are not a troublemaker. I'm speaking to the person that asked the question. You are a moderator. I didn't know you to be about peace or people who ask questions.
No, he asked a question, he's taking his answer off the air.
Okay, if he's taking an answer, I can respond to him.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, I don't want fat from Mr. C.
Mr. Sier, okay.
The aspect of people just going around with news when they hear it and just run with it, that George Weah bought a private jet, George Weah is building houses all over. Some of them, do they know when George Weah purchased the land? Do they know when he started the project I undertaking? Again, you talk about the Mediterranean Hospital. Do you see how far the Mediterranean Hospital is going in Liberia? You say, why is he doing for the poor people? Do you see how many single mother homes that he's building? Do you see how many poor people children he's sending to school? Do you see how many poor people children he's trying to empower? Everything is around the private jet. George Weah did not buy the private jet. That is clear until somebody can come and prove it on this line on another time. Focus on Liberia. You can establish our show organize another time. What somebody will kind of say, okay, this is the document. This is why George Weah did it. Instead of people just go in and sue me, George, because every nigga will come here today say, George Weah not buy the whole of Nima County. The next person will say, oh, George Weah bought Nima County, George. And they don't have any source of information. They don't have any proof that what they are saying happened. Somebody said, what has George Weah done for the pro government? You don't see? You see other women that are living in the streets in Monrovia that he had made there and the children to have homes. That he's sending our children to school. So let me stop you until the other for the other ladies to come in.
Right. And anytime there's a question, at least we want to use at most 2 minutes to respond to that, so we have a lot of people on the call. But let me bring in Sharon. I know, but before Sharon come in, Constant, you want to add to what Veronica said concerning the question raised by Gakon Moe?
Yes. One of the policies would be that all Liberians, students are eligible to attend any university in the Republic of Liberia free of charge. That's a policy that even the so-called educated did not put in place. That's one. You see the houses that the government, the president is building. That's another one. You talk about the roads project. With agriculture, once you have the roads connected, you have poverty that will be alleviated from the Republic of Liberia. That's another pro agenda. I just named 3. I could go on and name. The military hospital is almost near completion.
Thank you. At this time, we want to bring in Sharon Keppard, who I don't believe agrees with everything that the pro-government leaders have said. Sharon?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Actually, we should have been here as a group, but unfortunately, due to our scheduling and stuff, my colleagues could not make it. I myself could not make it. But at the laundry mat, watching and following what was going on, I was like, now, once at home, even without my colleagues, I'm going out there as an individual. So Sharon is here speaking as an individual and not as a representative for the opposition women, as we have been considered. I am here as an individual, and it's good being here. And thank you for hosting me. And it's a pleasure being on your platform this evening. Again, I am here as Sharon Keppard. I'm not here as a representative for the opposition women group, as we have been named.
Thank you.
Welcome, Sharon. Good to
Thank
have
you.
you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Well, no, Sharon, after spying.
Nah, I don't spy. I don't do big stuff.
But anybody not a spy either.
Okay, okay. That was the water
I was
cooler.
let me wait there for before I carry.
Okay, so Sharon, I believe you have listened to the show, you have watched for some time, and they have said that we have covered a lot of ground. One of the things is the thing the government is doing very well, 99.8 or 99.0, and you have watched the thing. Based on all that you have heard, I give you 4 minutes to react.
Would you like just jot down some important points that you want me to touch? Because you guys cover a varieties of issue, and maybe once I start, I'm gonna exhaust the 4 minutes and go beyond 4 minutes. So if you could just give me like important points that you as the host want me to touch.
Right. The major point here to them, the government is doing excellent, 99.9. Do you agree?
Before Sharon talk, can I say something, please?
No.
Let Sharon react to the 99.9 work that the government is doing.
The government is doing 99.9, 99.9. Probably maybe from the negative or standpoint, maybe that's what the 99.9 means. Because with my own sense of reasoning, I don't even think the government is worth being great even 50%.
Why?
Number one, if you look at the issue of governance, we do not have that in the system right now. We do not have any good style of governance in the system. And one of the reasons why I actually got prompted to come on here is the issue of corruption. You look at the issue of corruption today, it's widespreading, even in the early government, that seditious continue to name and continue to blame as a corrupt regime or as a regime that was corrupt. You look at the issue of corruption, it's taking a major lead in our governing sector right now under the watchful eyes of President George Weah. And another thing, I heard the ladies there talking about protests, about the government doing this, the government doing that, opposition doing this. You know, it's a pity that people who saw seditious protests 12 years ago for tea, breakfast, and dinner. It's a pity today that these very people will come out there and say seditionists did not protest the way they protest, opposition leaders or CDC did not do what opposition today is doing. A lot of times we hear those in the opposition today, they get angry with their leaders. They say that leaders are not speaking up. Their leaders are not saying anything towards what is going on in the country. But could that happen 12 years ago? No. The only opposition party like Liberia had 12 years ago was CDC. And they had one of the most hostile protests. They protested 12 years ago for tea, breakfast, and dinner. For so many days, those people were on the streets protesting. And today, for them to come out and say, opposition, COP is causing problems because of staging protests, that is saddening to know. That is saddening to know. Opposition today is nothing. You look at opposition today like they are dead. Like we don't have an opposition today. All we have is a pressure group, which is the COP. 12 years ago, Ellen had one of the most hostile opposition ever. I don't think Charles Taylor even had an opposition compared to what Ellen had. CDC does not have the kind of opposition Ellen had. So when I keep hearing people saying opposition is causing problems, opposition is hosting protests, opposition is doing this, I'm wondering which one of the oppositions. I am wondering because I have not seen protests being organized by Unity Party or Joseph Walker. I have not seen protests being organized by Benin Ayure or the ALP. I have not seen protests being organized by Kumis or the ANC. I have not seen protests being organized by Liberty Party or Darius Dayton and the likes of Yompli Kanka. The only protests we have seen being organized, national protests, it has been with the COP. So which of the opposition is really causing this problem? Which of the opposition? Is COP an opposition party? No, COP is just an ordinary pressure group, anti-government group. So I don't know what's the issue with opposition causing problems. The opposition unit CDC have today, if Erin had that opposition, I think Liberia would have been much more better on her tenure as it relates to law and order.
Okay, Sharon, you talk about, you said maybe the 99.19% is the negative. Do you have any 0.001% positive of this CDC-led government?
I'm yet to realize the positive aspects of the government. Yes, we hear that they are building roads, but I know most of the roads being built are roads to connect gossipers, are roads to connect boyfriends and girlfriends, roads to take the young man, the young woman to the beer bar to drink her and kana. Oh, like I said the last time on your show, you could build skyscrapers, you could build all the roads, you could connect all the villages and towns, but there are cardinal issues. If you don't address, you have done nothing. What important is the road when you don't have when you don't have a job empowerment, when you don't have facilities, you don't have facilities to go to, you don't have hospitals to go to, or when you are hungry. The dead, the man who is dying from hunger, is it the one who's going to walk on the road? The civil servant who cannot take pay, is she going to use the road to go to work? Building all the roads and building all the beautiful infrastructures cannot help our system right now. We should be Hello.
Yeah, just learn your thoughts.
We should first address major issues that are affecting the day-to-day activities of the people. Like I said, and I will always say, there has never been an instance where the people get angry with the government because the government did not build roads. There has never been an instance where the people got angry with the government because the government did not build hospitals either. People get angry because of marginalization, nepotism, injustice, insecurity. When one group feel they are being left out, why the citizen whole casket 12 years ago? You think they held casket because they wanted to hold casket? You think they carried panties because they wanted to carry panties? But they felt they were being left out. They felt that they were not getting the justice they deserved. They felt that they were not being treated equally under the law. They felt that they were not being treated and considered as Liberians or as Liberians or as humans. They felt left out of the system.
Thank you, Sharon.
The system.
Mr. Jab, before we go to that line,
let me get something to drink. Just a minute. If you could just give me a minute, let me get something to drink.
All right.
Focus on Liberia. While we're waiting for Sharon, let me just express that you guys organized this debate for pro-government and anti-government. Sharon came on this debate. She said she did not come to represent the anti-government.
Exactly.
She came to represent her individual. We just feel it's not no justice. I'm not a low child for debate.
So she can make a phone call if she's individual.
To represent the pro-government, that's it. We've been on the debate over an hour. So how will you feel if another pro-government woman come? Will you give her the opportunity?
Yes.
So Dennis and Sia, we just feel there's no justice. Let me be honest. Me, I'm not a low girl when it comes to these things.
Yes.
I'm not talking to you either. I'm talking to the organizer. I'm talking to Focus on Liberia, man. Please, I'm not talking.
Can I come in a little bit?
I'm talking to them. I was not talking to you. I'm just telling them, not you, my dear. I apologize. I'm talking to them that they did not treat us fair.
We got your point.
Anything wrong, Sharon? You did not do anything wrong. You are not doing anything wrong. But Dennis Jar and his team told us that we were coming on this show at 7 o'clock to debate between the pro-government women and the anti-government women. And we've been on the show for almost 2 hours. An individual king, and you guys give her the opportunity.
We got it.
That she came to represent the anti-government, we will understand. So just to register that It's
Thank
not
you.
really justice to the pro-government.
Thank you. Your points understood. Well taken. Mr. CA.
Yeah, Sharon,
Ladies, I'm sorry if you guys feel offended by that, but honestly, this is where we Liberians are getting it wrong. We limit our understanding, we limit our ideas, our intelligence to political party, to government and anti-government group. I came on as an individual who is
The
against
show was set for opposition versus good.
I came on as an individual who is against the government. I'm an opposition as well. I am an opposition. I am an opposition. I don't have to come here with a whole clique. I don't have to come here with a whole group.
Thank you, Sharon. I think they do have a point, and that's why I say understood. So let's leave it at that point. That the debate should be between pro-government and the opposition. And since the pro-government is not here, we said we're moving ahead with. Since the opposition is not here, we're moving ahead. So their point is understood, and you have come not representing the team that they were supposed to meet. You are representing an individual. So she asked me the question that if a pro-government lady comes as an individual, will you allow that? And I said, to be fair, yes, we will allow it. Back to you, Mr. CA.
thank you, Dennis. As again, Force in Cyberspace. This is Focus on Liberia. Anthony CA, your own troublesome guy, hosting with Dennis Ja, and we have the ladies in the house, the most beautiful ladies. And here's the thing, Dennis Ja, this is very important. We have Liberian men out there, many of them who are leaders, who want to be opposition. Anytime we reach out to them, including political party heads, they do not want to come for debate. I give it to the ladies for them showing up here for debate. But man, it's a challenge. I know you can do better. If the women can do it, you can do it. Sharon, before you close, and then we'll go to the phone line, you say here that this government is not doing anything right at all. In my opinion, that's just my opinion, that is not fair. A government not doing at least one thing you couldn't find, but I found one for you, and prove me wrong. This government has hired a lot of women in it. The government has a lot of women in its cabinet. Is that not a good thing, you as a woman?
Oh, that is a good thing for us to have like women empowerment and for us to have like let's say like a competition going on amongst women. But the sad thing is that hiring women is not just all to it. You cannot hire women just to say we have women in cabinet. Hire women who have the potentials to deliver. Hire women who are qualified and competent. It's not just about hiring women. I'm a woman. I'm not qualified. You hire me for a piece of job simply because I gave you my body. What good is it to the state? What good is it to the people of the country? What good is it to the regime? Hiring women is a good thing, but not just hiring any kind of women. Bring women that will bring in women that will help to build the system. Women that will stand. I'm sorry. Now you don't just go about hiring women because you just want to say, oh, because of women empowerment. No, I must employ the government. If you guys saying she has a lot of women in cabinet, yes, they do have a lot of women in cabinet. But are those women qualified? Are they competent? Did they meet the criteria upon which they were hired?
And what's
are
your
they
answer
doing
to
what
that?
they are supposed to be doing? That's the big question right there.
And what's your answer to that question?
I would say no.
All right. Let me go.
No. I will look at the gender ministry first of all. Look at the issue of gender-based violence going on in the country. Look at the issue of rape. I'm not going to go all in government sector and look for where they have all the women. But I believe the first branch of government that should be more concerned with the protection of women, the protection of girls, the protection of kids should be the gender ministry. What is she doing today? And I believe, like you guys said, they hire a lot of women. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of women within the gender ministry. What help is the gender ministry right now to the people of Liberia?
Thank you.
Let me go to Sharon to respond to all this. Not Sharon, Constant. Constant, you wanted to respond to Sharon.
Oh, yes. Oh, Sharon, oh, thank you. I must applaud you for coming here alone as an individual. We are here as a team, Propo team. So thank you very much. But I'm going to, speak to one or two things that you mentioned. Number one, you talk about the government. People don't come against government because they not paying rule because of healthcare. Healthcare is one of the most important thing in every society. That's number one. If you talk about good governance, you talk about participatory government system. This government in the history of the Republic of Liberia has all Liberian participating fully, men, women, downtrodden, middle class, everybody participating into this government, not just sedition. You got it all over. Some people say, oh, CDC, the one that fought, but you got opposition in government. So I just want to say that's misleading of information. And one of the problems we have now in Liberia is the known and unknown, and in between is perception. Let's talk about corruption. You were talking about corruption. The most corrupt government is your government, the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government. It's the perception because Liberians are traumatized. They didn't have the opportunity when Ellen had the opportunity, all the money to invest into services that would de-traumatize people. They did not do it. So people have the perception like a woman who has been abused, if she meet a good husband or good man who is nice to her, because she has been abused in the past, so she feels that the good man is also abusive and she doesn't have trust. That's the problem with Liberian at this point in time. Most Liberians, especially the opposition, the notion of this government being very corrupt is a perception. I would say it's a perception that people have because of the past regime, because they live in the past and so they are breaking it. Let me just make this clear here on this platform. Every society, every institution, you have bad apples. This government is not corrupt. You might have individuals from the past government that this government maintain, and those bad apples might be practicing their corrupt behavior. But this government as a whole does not condone corruption. The leader is not corrupt. The judiciary system is not corrupt. We have challenges. But because people have been abused by the past governments with corruption, misuse of public funds, so they bring that baggage. Like they say, if you live in one relationship, do not bring your baggage alone. Liberians are bringing their baggages to the new government. So the issue of corruption, I'm not saying this government is perfect. We have challenges because we have the bad apples from the old regime, and now you got to do all the training, develop the human resources, try to train people, continue education. This government is doing that. We know we have challenges, but to believe that this government is the most corrupt government is a perception because people, they are new and they knew, and in between they just got that perception and the syndrome that the trauma from the war, the trauma from past government, especially the Ellen Sirleaf Johnson government that received all the international funding that did nothing. Now, Somalian Drive has full lean. You're talking about what this government has done. I can go on to name. Road connectivity, without roads, you cannot develop your country. What are you talking about? We should not come on the platform and bring our emotions. You know that even in the great United States, you are able to move from one place. The poor bring produce. You can get fresh vegetable because of roads. You got trucks. You cannot develop your country if you don't have roads. You cannot promote agriculture if you don't have roads. And for healthcare, for you to say as a woman that healthcare will not be one of the reasons that people will rise up against a government, but people will not rise up because of employment. Look at this government. This government has most of the opposition in government. They have women. They have people who other people deem as incompetent. What is your definition of incompetent? Who is the one cutting the shots to determine who is, because it's not to your level. When Eddie was dead, people were not cutting the shot. If someone has the education, they are competent. You talk about general minister. The general ministry will not arrest people. General ministry put policies in place. And it is left with the police and the court system to go after people that commit crimes. It's not the general minister's job to go run after criminals. They're only there to put in policies.
Constant.
The police and you got the court system.
Constant.
Pause here and give other people the chance and the opportunity to buttress or what I say or
right,
whatever.
Before you go, you talk about the bad apples. There's a question here saying, if you know the bad apples, why not get rid of the bad apples? And you continue to eat those bad apples, Constant.
Okay, there are procedures in order to sack someone, even if you know, even in America, if you go to work and people got things against you, you got to gather your evidence. You got to make sure you catch the person right-handed. You present your, you don't just say, oh, someone told me, or because you from the past, we just so we just want to fire you, they could bring lawsuit against you. So this government is very tolerant, and we are getting to the bottom of things. We're going to fix this mess. And Liberians will be upset because you know why? They want to do things the old way. You talking about marginalization. You are the ones. This government gave everybody the opportunity. Competent people is not by your definition of competence to say this person is not competent because of your definition. There are procedure, there are job description that they have on the book. And let me make it clear, the general ministry does not arrest. The general ministry does not implement. The general ministry is there to put the policies that will protect women and children and the vulnerable. And it is left with the police, it is left with the court system for them to implement.
Thank you.
The general minister does not go around arresting people for rape or asking people. You put in the procedure, and because those systems were not in place, the problem is we need time to educate people. Those systems were not in place. They are just being introduced. So you need time for people to catch up and understand these things, sister. And no government will say healthcare is the least. Healthcare is the one priority.
Let's keep it short. Thank you, Mrs. Dopo.
Thank you.
Can I just come in a little bit?
Yeah, hold on. We got a lot on the line, and we want to give at least each of them 30 seconds. We have gone over 2 hours and maybe 30 minutes now. So we are thinking about drawing down the curtains very soon. So, Mr. C, I want for us to take a few calls.
Please do. Let's take some calls.
Yeah, and callers, we will admonish you to be very, very brief, and 30 seconds should be enough. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Dennis, we've been here too long. Let's talk quick so we can move from here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Aliyu. Let's talk quick so we can move from here so we can get your chance.
Go ahead.
I'd like to talk, Mrs. Constant. I gotta say though, I'm not supposed to do this, but it looked like you won this. You won this whole debate. I've been single-handedly won this thing.
Thank you.
I don't want Rosalind to recognize my voice because I know she'll cost me again, but she can't blow me. And by the way, let me tell Muslim I got a Korean girlfriend. She had asked something. But let's go to the issue just 1 minute. I mean, less than the 30 seconds you said, by the way. The president actually is supposed to come up and condemn some of these things. We're not saying that it is the president's responsibility to go out and arrest people who commit rape or any allegation that he has to authenticate allegations of rape before he make comments. He cannot remain mute, even though we agree that in order for him to take action, he has to have evidence. But he can also come out and say things. I have my daughter in Liberia. People say rape is not really going on as people are saying. That's not true. My daughter was physically attacked by one of the young boys in the neighborhood, attempted to rape her. She was strong enough to fight him off, and he ran. After this day, there have been no inquiry into that case by the police. These are things that the president can come up and reassure his people. Okay, so thank you so much for having me. But then again, I agree with Constant and other people that you can't just say somebody, but just because you think somebody is corrupt does not necessarily mean that they're corrupt. You have to prove it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Aliyu. Our next caller, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, your name and where you calling from, 30 seconds.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Guita Lawrence Lonzo, otherwise known as Lawrence, calling from Worcester, Massachusetts. My only little problem is that from what I see on the surface is that most people in the opposition don't really know the fact and the functions of government officials and positions. They just say government. I mean, the president will not just come out and speak to everything. Even if it is judicial matter, he must come and override it. Something from the judicial place, they will say president. Something from the legislature, they say president. Even the legislators themselves. Someone like Yeke Kolova, Darrell Delon, they still blame the president for something that they themselves supposed to come to lobby with their friends to work it out from the house there and see whether the president will not lay with them. Everybody, president. You know, we're so much used to the thing that president in the country should do everything. It don't work that way. The opposition, I mean, you can be overpowerful and that you will do everything because you're the president. I beg you, just a second, please. When it comes to that housing unit issue, the housing unit case has been laid to rest ever since. It has been laid to rest. The case was dropped. Duana and his friends were never wrong because the Supreme Court, whatever court, they didn't find substantial evidence to prosecute whoever that was put in court. So that case has been dropped. Thank you.
Thank you. And please, our panelists, please take note. Let's go to our next column, 30 seconds.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Jacob Cooper. I'm pro-government, government activist, and also a supporter of the president. I just returned from Liberia 2 days ago. Can I get a full minute to just make some analytical statement? A full minute, please.
No, you can't get 4 minutes. You can schedule with us to come here as a guest.
Yeah. The other lady that was on the standby and smiling and Kim, y'all give her 4 minutes.
Just go ahead. You're wasting time.
Yeah, that's true because you said if somebody come from the pro-government angle,
you're wasting time. Go ahead, Jacob, and finish.
Thank you very much. Look, let me be sincere to everybody on this line. There are people that don't want to see good happening in Liberia, and these people have constantly gone through this thing with every government. This is why we see Liberia look bad off like this. Who in the world will see a 2-year-old government doing so much development that you can't even imagine how this development are going on, and you still criticize this government? This government has built more roads. This government is building hospital units. This government has just finished or almost to a completion of the Military Hospital. This government is completing all of those agreements that were signed 2009 from your past regime, from your one past regime that couldn't complete some of the roads, that did not even take a step, take one a shovel to put on that road, just sign the paper. This government has started completing some of the roads in 2 years. And to sit there and criticize the government, look, you guys we have to be serious with the Liberia people.
Thank you,
We
Jacob.
have to be serious if we have a president that is doing his best, to develop our country, that giving a chance and start coming up with propaganda and just see the bastard. There's the first thing in history of Liberia that you have a free university.
Thank you, Jacob.
There's the first thing in history of Liberia that you have mass graders and
Thank you. Let's go to our next caller. Caller, go ahead. You have 30 seconds quickly. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, caller.
Oh, wow. Me?
Hello? Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, focus on Liberia. How are you?
Good.
Oh, hello?
Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead. We're listening to you. Go ahead. Caller, quickly to the issue, please. Mr. Johnson, you should move to another column.
Yeah, let's move to another column. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
I'm Zaza from Rhode Island.
Go ahead.
From Rhode Island.
Go ahead, Zaza.
Okay, thank you so much. I am pro-government. I'm pro-government, but I have a question. I want to speak as a Liberian. And this is my question. The issue we have in Liberia is that most of us don't see the right thing because we feel we support the government or we are opposition. This is my question. Before my question, let me give a little bit. The corruption is defined as anything that is not fair, anything that is not right, anything that is going wrong. So I learned and I follow this government the issue of the NOCA. When the recommendation came out, nothing came out of it. The issue of 25 million, the recommendation came out, nothing came out of it. So the only thing that the government is acting on is the issue of the 60 billion. So the issue of the NOCA that is being downplayed, the issue of the 25 million that is being downplayed, and the issue of other people that are being killed or people being accused of being killed, and the cases have not been put to rest. Those things that are not considered fair. I do not consider as corruption if we say the government is not corrupt. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a lot of pro-government people that were talking. So Sharon, I'll give you the chance to respond first.
Let me, before I go to some of the points from the callers, when I say that nobody rise up against our government because they don't build hospital, it does not mean that we do not need an effective healthcare. Why it is true that we need an effective healthcare? What has the government done? What has the government done to improve the health sector of Liberia? You are talking about gender ministry. We don't expect the gender ministers to go out and run after rapists. We don't expect them to go out there and fight on behalf of those who are being sodomized and raped face to face with those people who are offending those people. Policies, you are talking about the put in policies that which we know, but what policies are they putting in place? What policy have they put in place? What policy have they put in place? We have the justice system. We do not have a justice system that is even accountable. Look at the many rape cases that are going on. We don't hear nothing coming from the gender ministry. When you go to the judiciary branch of government, it's nothing. You go to your justice system, there is nothing working at all. And one of the callers made mention of people blaming the president, Well, 12 years ago, when seditions, when opposition blamed Ellen for everything, was she the only person working in government then? Wasn't George Weah part of the government? Wasn't the vice president today part of the government? Were a lot of people who are in government today part of the government? But why did we hold Ellen 12 years ago? Like the Liberian man say, you the father in the home, anything that goes wrong, it comes to you, the father. It comes right back at you. And one of the reasons why today we look at our system, that instead of blaming any other branch of government, we always blame the executive. It has to do with the way the executive govern herself and run the country. You see the executive of our country today, other country, you have the judiciary branch, you have the House of Representatives and Senate. They are the ones running everything. For the executive branch sees herself as the supreme god in the country. So at the end of the day, everything will go back to them. Because when it comes to living the best of life, they live the best of life. When it comes to building all the mansions and palaces, they do everything. We know we have the House of Representatives and Senate, and you don't blame the House of Representatives and Senate for the way they behave.
Thank you.
Because the people
seriously.
Thank you, Sharon. All right, we will have Veronica and Roslyn to respond to the callers and Sharon, and then we're going to go into our final segment, which will be solutions and recommendations. So Roslyn, you go first.
Okay, I want to respond to Miss Sharon. First of all, Sharon came in late. We're not responsible for that. She knew the time was supposed to come on, and she had a reason why she couldn't come on that time. So we shouldn't take responsibilities on that. My concern here is how would she say that the roles that the government is building is for boyfriends and girlfriends meetings and drinking liquor, and you're not going to drive on those roads that the government is building? I want to know that if you're not going to drive on them when you get to Liberia, when you ever get there, and I want to believe you're not even going to go to Liberia. You just sit in America and live your life on speculations. And you go to the Costa show and listen to garbage, and you bring it in the public scene and make it look like it's something that we need to be listening to. You talk about women having jobs, the government giving female jobs, and you say is the using their bodies. That's how could you make such a statement, blanket statement like that on responsible people and smart people? You are not smart. You are not smart to speak like that on your fellow women.
Let's go to the issue, Rosalind. Don't go.
No,
I think you're
it's
trying to attack me
annoying.
now.
It's
Attack me.
annoying for
Yeah.
somebody to come
Attack
on a
me.
public show and demean her
Right.
fellow women that are giving their bodies to get jobs. That's an insult.
Modu said
And
it.
you never put a stop to it, host.
Modu
No, they are being tried. I'm so
not
upset
say
right
Come on,
now.
you give me a chance. Let me speak. You spoke. I didn't speak. So you
Attack
be
me.
quiet. Let me speak. You don't
That's the
demean
norm.
women. No
That's
woman,
the
they're
Bible of
qualified. They were
Bible of
qualified.
attack.
That's why they were hired to do the job of the land. You are not qualified. Okay?
Let
You
us
are
not
not
go
qualified if you
personal.
can address your friend woman in that manner. That's such a disrespect.
All
You
right.
guys have nothing on this government. All you guys said all day is to insult and insult and insult. You think by insulting other people is what justify the means. That was wrong. And
All
you
right.
talking about COP, I'm addressing Sharon. If you will give me the chance to, I haven't spoken for almost an hour now. If you give me the chance to do so.
Wow,
You
an
talk about
hour?
you talk Dennis, if I'm talking, you always interrupt me, you and CA. Can I just speak? Can I just land?
Please go ahead.
Okay.
I just don't want it to be personal. That's all.
I'm not taking, she came and attack people. And I want to
He
make it
attacked
clear.
you. She did not attack
And I
you.
want to make it clear. You asked a specific question. She said the government is not performing the
Yeah.
way you pointed the question
He
to
attacked
her.
you, but you are attacking
The
her.
last time when they came on here, they said the government is zero.
Yes. So just go to the issue.
Okay, but you interrupted me, and I'm trying to land. And she's talking about COP. It's not a opposition, but COP, the head of COP is member of a political party. That's ALP, and the rest of them, they all collaborated. There's a CPP. There's a collaborating political parties. Maybe Sharon doesn't know that. So he is acting as a political party, and they're all the supporters of the CPP goes under. They all go under the COP. Whenever demonstration or protest, they plan protest to go against the government, they all appear. So what are you talking about? That is a pressure group. No, the COP is a political party, and they're in full support of all political parties. They are all joined together to put the government feet to the fire. And let me make one thing clear. When it comes to this government, the president is a feminist in chief. He support all the agendas of the women to make sure that young girls are being respected. The first lady have an organization or a charity organization that protect little girls or women from being raped, for that matter. I am in particular here. When I do my show, I advocate for young girls being raped. I even have a logo called for campaign against rape called Don't Touch. I'm somebody's child. We all have been on the line talking about kids being raped, and it's a bad thing. Who wants to support rape? Why would any woman support rape? Why would any responsible government be in favor of kids being raped? Why you guys don't see the picture? I don't understand. This denigrating all day long. You're not even discussing the issues. All you talk about is every day is hate and hate and hate. This government have
Sorry, Rose, you didn't see me on this. Like I came here to discuss.
This government have built roads to take the farm to bring goods to market. When people are sick, with no roads, people die in a way to get to hospitals. You talk about hospitals. Your hospital, your government had
upgrade your medical system, equip your medical system to take
it was not equipped. It was dirty. We had to clean it up.
Your medical sector.
So what are you talking
about? Your hospitals.
Go and do your research. Go and do your research. And when I'm speaking, you be quiet. And when I'm done, you can talk again. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Let's go to Veronica.
You're not my mom.
Veronica.
Well, Dennis, let me honestly tell you and your co-host that
so angry with
I am disappointed. One, Two, you guys are not being transparent.
Oh
And
my goodness.
my time I told to come and sit here. I don't know whether I will have that time again, another time to come and focus on Liberia. Let me just be honest.
Already,
You guys, can you just mute your visitor that you invited? She's not one of those that was supposed to be on the show. The show, excuse me, Dennis, the show was supposed to be between the pro and the con women, diaspora women of America. You guys invited an individual and she continued to belittle us, and you, after the CA, you trying to take side with her. That's not fair. And Dennis, that's not fair. I will say that. You don't waste our time here. We got our time. I left my job today to come on the show. Somebody, an individual king, and she has said that I'm coming late because of job. I'm coming late because I have to take my child to daycare. We understand. She said she will in a laundromat. You know what she meant? She in a laundromat. She's not coming to represent the group you invited. You never told us we were coming to meet an individual. We were going to prepare other individuals to come on the show. So I just want to register that I'm disappointed because of that. But anyway, let's go to the issue. I will be responsible enough to stay on the show and end it. But I'm telling you guys, it was not fair. I have received almost 15 messages that what is going on. And Focus on Liberia is a very much good show. How will you feel you invite to somebody say in the laundromat, but I will come in as an individual? They didn't even honor your request. She could have come in as one person representing the women group that she part of. And then you guys, they want the opportunity to talk 4 minutes. When we talk 2 minutes, you guys cut her off. They show that you guys should not organize the debate. You should have given the anti-government women what you're supposed to do. And you, Emmanuel, say that Rosalie attacked her. When she was attacking other women, did you put stop to her? But let me be fair how it is. For the aspect of the role, and she said that the current government is creating role to carry a girlfriend and boyfriend. Maybe when she leave in America to go, she will carry a girlfriend and boyfriend. I mean, she will carry a boyfriend or a girlfriend too. And she's enjoying that role. But role connectivity in the country is very important. What if our sister is in labor in another country that there's no doctor? They have to transport her to a nearby city where there is doctor for surgery. When she said out there and died because she ain't got food to eat, we're talking about food, we're talking about employment, we're talking about things. The fact of the matter is somebody is doing so, appreciate it. Even if you have issue with the person, say, okay, the real connectivity is important. But XYZ, and you refrain that, say people get their body, then go ahead to Moravia and go get your body, you qualify so they can get you a job. This is a social media that everybody watching. We need to watch our words, how we refer to other women. They just appointed an agriculture minister. Is the agriculture minister Destiny sleeping with Oprah? She's not a citizen. She's not pro-government. And she's sleeping with Oprah. And you guys sat down there, they now cut her off. Y'all listen to her for 20, 15, 10 minutes. But when we're talking, y'all cut her off. Okay, you said thank you. Let me keep quiet. Continue to the next person.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Focus on Liberia. We have the debate night, and this is we're sorry we'll not be going to the phone lines anymore as we want to bring down the curtains. So the last segment for this is we want to advance solutions and make recommendations. Solutions to both the opposition and also the ruling party or the government. And then what are the solutions and what recommendation will advance? Mr. Sia, back to you. I know you want to come in.
Mr. Jai, thank you so very much. So ladies, we have come to the final segment. We have discussed, but I will give Sharon the opportunity to respond. And then we can go to the solution aspect. Or Sharon, you can respond and then you can advance solution and recommendation on the way forward, because we are all fighting.
Let me start up at this. If anybody said that I was at the laundromat and I'm here speaking from the laundromat, I think next time the person should learn to listen well when people are speaking, because I said I was watching the video on the laundromat and I was like, once I get home, I'm going to go on and participate. And secondly, I come here as an individual and an anti-government person. I don't think I committed any crime. But if at all my presence is intimidating you guys. I am very let me
Excuse me.
apologize for that. And for the issue
Excuse
of
me.
saying, for
You
the
read
issue
for
of
us.
saying, for the issue of saying women gave their bodies up, I am not saying those women willing to go and give their body to those men. I am not saying the willing to give their body to our officials in government. We all know the story. We know how our sisters, our mothers are being abused for even $50 job in that country. So I'm not, a lot of women get abused because of one little position. They have to do it because they want that job. They want to put food on their table. They want to be able to educate their children. They want to be able to take care of the basic needs of the children. So a lot of the women who get abused or who give their bodies to men to get jobs, I am not saying that they're willing to go out there and say, I'm here, take my body and give me job. But we know how our people in government were subject our sisters to abuse. We know how they subject them to molestation. We know how they belittle them to sex for job, to sex for survival. We know that has been like an everyday system in the country. So hearing people saying I am abusing women, I am insulting women, it is only because they do not think from different standpoint. They only use one mind to think. When I said our women get job based on their bodies, it's because they get abused. They are the only option on which they can get job. I sleep with you and I give you the job. We have qualified Liberian women.
Sharon.
We have competent Liberian women. How many of them are given jobs based on their qualification and their competency?
Sharon.
Not even 2% of them.
Sharon, do you have any example of those who give their bodies for job?
Thank you.
No, I don't have any example, but I know that is something that is within the system. Molupa Molu is a witness to that. He said it when he was young. He could not say that Molupa Molu might have stolen money or he might have done some wrong when he was young. He could not stay in the middle of the road to be hit by a car. But he said that our president gave people jobs for sleeping with them.
Okay, I get it. So what are your recommendations and how can we fix all this problem?
What I would recommend is this, that we know no government come to power and we expect the government to do things in 1 year or 2 years time. But once you are determined, you are focused, you have the interest of the people at heart, you can make it. And what our government today needs to do, what you preached against 12 years ago, to not practice it. To not practice what you preached against 12 years ago. You preach against corruption. Today we see corruption is taking over. You preach against injustice. Today it's all over the place. You preach against hate. You preach against discrimination. You preach against nepotism. It's taking all over the place. Our government today, George Weah government is still a very young government. Everybody know the government is 2 years old. The government is like a crawling baby, so he cannot go to the S-Bar and get his bottle to drink, but he's able to go on the bed at night and try to lift his mother clothes up. Why am I saying this? The government is still a very young government. The government cannot build our system that was already broken down, but the government was able to succeed in breaking our banking sector down. If this government mean well for the people, put away all the divisiveness, number one. Put away all the divisiveness. Bring in people who are qualified and competent. Do not keep people around you because they are loyal to you. Loyalty does not build individual. It helps to destroy people.
Thank you.
Bring people around you that will help you push your agenda. People that will bring pride to you, that your name will live, that your legacy will grow. That after your tenure, people will say, yes, this president did well. We talk about early corruption. We talk about marginalization during early time. What difference are we seeing? We talk about Harry Green being killed during early time. What difference is Harry Green's death?
Thank you, Sharon. We're talking about recommendations. Thank you.
So my recommendation is that the government should bring in competent people. They should do away with corruption, and the government should learn to be tolerant, accept criticism, and learn to live with your critics.
Thank you.
So I will stop there.
We'll go to Constant.
Excuse me, guys. Let me get something to drink, please.
Yeah, I drink, dear. Oh, thank you, Mr. Ja, and I want to thank my sisters, and I want to thank Sharon for coming on the show alone. But before I make my recommendation, I just wanted to give Sharon nickel knowledge. She came very emotional about the rape issue, but did she speak about the Hassan Kezulu, the lawmaker who is the opposition? He just being accused of rape? No, she did not mention his name. That's the opposition right there. But has she read about the N the NGP policy, the National Gender Policy of Liberia? She should go read about it. So what I'm saying is this, is that the government is doing a lot, and the government will continue to do her best. My recommendation, if I were to meet the president or using your platform here, would be that the government should continue to do what she's doing. She's doing her best. The road connectivity, prioritizing the promises that we made to the Liberian people, that we're going to connect the road network, and that we're going to make food by the agriculture sector. And without the road, we cannot promote agriculture. So the government should focus on that. The government should also try to make sure that the issue with the court system is addressed, that we start to try cases in speedily, but in a very good manner. And I think that's what the government is doing. That's why cases are taking longer than usual. That people think it's not about your expectation, it's about doing a quality job. We should not just think about the quantity, but we should think about the quality of the work. So I would say to my government, to my president, to everybody, the government, the president has appointed, do your job, do it diligently to the Liberian people to the best of your ability, and let Liberia shine and shine, and the change that we promise the people, so that people will see it after 6 years. Thank you very much for having us tonight.
Any,
And I
any,
hope you come back.
any recommendation for the opposition before I let you in?
Oh, to the opposition, I would like to say to the opposition that you are harming yourself greatly. Thank you for all the negative criticism that you're giving, and but you are not doing yourself any justice, because you are not impacting the Liberian people in a positive way, and you are not presenting yourself as an alternative for 2023. So come 2023, CDC going to come victorious again, because you are not doing your homework. If you love the Liberian people, what are the projects that you are undertaking as opposition party? Or once you win, they defeat you during election, you just sit back to criticize, and then come 2023, you will be forming all the funny political parties, and then you will want the government to get your job. When it comes to you all talking about incompetency, simply because it's not you that are being appointed. That is
recommendation, Constance. They don't
recommendation. Back off, support this government as a Liberian. If you are opposition party, support the government. Bring good suggestions. Take the companies to Liberia that you promised, the things you were going to do if you have won the election. Go and start implementing some of those visions that you had during the campaign. And then the Liberian people will see that you mean well for them. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Roslyn.
Yes.
Your final thoughts and your recommendation.
My recommendation to the opposition or to the government?
Both the government and the opposition.
My recommendation to the government is to continue to build roads, healthcare, focus on education, continue to focus on education for our younger future generation or future leaders. Continue to do what you promised the Liberian people, and work on security and justice. And to the opposition, they need to stop being so angry, because Liberia, this government, they ain't going nowhere until after 12 years. So get on with the program. We all work together for the betterment of our country. Instead of angry and lying and lying and lying on a daily basis, it's not going to do you any good. First of all, if you if you say that that ki- kids are being raped and nothing happening about it, but you take GoFundMe and make a rapist a hero, supporting a rapist when you can generate fund to put towards the rape cases, let people be brought to justice that messing around with little girls. But you,
Rosalind, who's the rapist that they are supporting through GoFundMe?
we all know who the rapist is. It's no other than Henry
no.
Costa. It's the videos are all over the internet. You can check it out.
Can you share that with us?
But you want me to share it with you now?
Yes.
Oh, you have to give me some time to search because I got lots of videos.
Okay, yes, please. After the show, you can do that, and we'll come back to inform our audience.
Okay, I was, and it's very graphic too.
That's the business we are in.
Okay, so how can you talk about rapists? How can you talk about rapists when every time somebody want to go and cause chaos in the country, you fund them with money? Why don't you create a page to do GoFundMe? I did. I tried to raise money to put a campaign out there for kids that have been raped. I can show you 1 second.
I know we're closing. Was there ever a GoFundMe?
Can you just give me 1 second? 1 second. Let me show you a sample.
Let go ahead, Veronica, while we wait for Rose.
Veronica, go ahead.
Well, let me take this.
Why are you waiting for me? Can somebody? Okay, here. 1 sample. These are samples. I set up a GoFundMe. Veronica, let me learn quick.
Go ahead, Roslyn.
Do you see here? This is for rape kids. Don't touch. I'm somebody's child. This is just sample. We put up a GoFundMe to do the campaign, just so people to support the project or campaign against rape. This is just a sample here. And I have a team up with DJ Finest. She's in the United States. We talk about this all of the time. I even invited her on the lifestyle of the pro-poor. And we talk about rape kids. We are concentrating on how to make sure our girls are being saved. And nobody came. I think we only want to raise $150 in a GoFundMe for this rape against kids. Don't touch. I'm somebody's child. You see the stop sign there? So when we talk about things, show us what you're doing towards that. A rapist will call you to give them GoFundMe to go and cause chaos, and you send all your tax refund there. And then you want to come and school people about ripping? What are you doing towards that?
Thank you, Roslyn. Veronica.
Thank you, and go initiative. Keep it up. But I wish you have raised $1 million.
I know, right?
Thank you. Let's come to you, Veronica.
Let me take this time to extend thanks and appreciation to the ladies on this talk show and my president, Dr. President George Martin Weah. May you live long, and 12 years is loading. I just want to conclude by saying, watch your surrounding, and those of you opposition, don't hurt yourself. Advocacy is not just going on social media to talk things that of no substance. Advocacy is not just verbal, it's also physical, it's tangible. So we have a lot of girls, like quote unquote, have been raped. We have a lot of girls who are selling peanuts in the street of Monrovia. We have a lot of boys and girls who are selling Kool-Aid at the age of 12, 10, 11. They are providing for their family. Let us not just be in America and see our kids are living under 24 hours. They are drinking water and everything, to the best of the ability. But all we do come and sit on social media and make noise and confuse our kids back there. Let us sponsor one child. Let us sponsor 2 children. Let us help the government. The government cannot do it by themselves. Government comes, government go. After 12 years, George, we will go. Somebody else will come. Is it how we want to be living in Liberia, cursing each other, killing each other, making the world to feel that we are the worst people on earth? It's not helping us. So let us come together, opposition, pro, let us come together as one and see the positivity in Liberia that we can support. And I want to tell my president, thank you for the road connectivity. I want to tell him, thank you for providing home for the homeless. I want to tell him, thank you for taking the Liberia from the trash to the level where it is right now. For saying that every child must be educated in Liberia. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate it, short, but I feel there was no justice done to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, folks in cyberspace, you heard it right there. She appreciated the show, but we didn't do justice to her. And we are just smiling about it, and we're going to do something about it. This is Focus on Liberia. Yeah, I focus on Liberia. We are about the issues. We educate, we elevate, we promote all things Liberia, including our women. And that is the purpose of this show, to promote the Liberian women in discussing the issues that affect us as a country. We have earlier invited the pro-government women and women from the opposition bloc. This should have been a world-class debate. Due to schedule issue, the opposition women could not come. But
no case.
Sharon came as an individual, and she spoke to our men, to our political leaders. We have to debate the issues. And that is what Focus on Liberia is trying to do. We're trying to provide a platform, give all of us the opportunity to argue, to disagree, and sometimes agree when possible. We believe this is the best way we can move our country forward. Because when we discuss the issue, sometimes we may attempt not to agree, but at the end of the day, we will come to realize that, hey, I think she said the right thing. I think I was wrong. And then we move a step forward. Folks, this is how we'll come to the close of this conversation. If you make comment and we did not read your comment, next time we'll read your comment. For those of you who were on the call, we could not get to you. The calls were too many, we couldn't get to all of them. Thank you. This is Focus on Liberia. My name is Anthony C. Ben Coast hosting with the veteran Dennis Jar. And that will do it for us. And so, folks, we will bring you a classical series next Tuesday. Don't miss it at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right.